Welcome, all you toxic man babies, to the Drunk3PO channel.
What is happening, everybody? What is happening? Welcome to another Drunk3PO one-on-one. And yes, again, when I announced that Ethan Van Sciver was going to be on the one-on-one, do you know that everybody laughed? Everybody said he doesn't come down to the little guy. He doesn't put his sunbeams, his sunshine and rainbow. He saves that for a select few. But lo and behold, everyone was wrong again. Here he is, everyone. Mr. Ethan Van Sciver, thank you, sir, for
I have
blessing
descended.
us.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Drunk3PO. Really an honor. Thank you.
I mean, thank you. Again, like wearing the original Cyberfrog shirt from the first campaign.
Yeah, I love it. Looks good. It looks better. I like that shirt. Like the more you wash it, because I've got a bunch of them, and when the image starts to crack and look all vintage, it makes me happy. You know, it just looks cool.
I like wearing it out in public and having people recognize it, and then I could say, I kind of know that guy. I kind of know that guy that drew that. I kind of know that guy, and then it starts up a conversation, and then you hear all kinds of weird things that people have said about you that I had no idea was true. But before I'm just going to go right off the bat, sir. I'm going to play something real quick. And the number one question that everyone has for you, I'm going to play this clip. It's your intro, but then I got to ask you this crazy question that everyone keeps asking. Right? Hello.
If you're enjoying this.
All right, so
yeah,
the question everybody wants to know: were you the one that started?
What was I referring to when I started that? Gangster shit. Like I've had that theme song for so long, and when I started it, when I started using it, it really made sense to me. You know, it was kind of like sad and ironic. I was angry at DC Comics or something like that. You know, now I don't know what it refers to. I guess, you know, it refers to everything, even though I started nothing. It refers to the Phantom Menace. It refers to Comicsgate. It's all of that stuff. And I like the perpetual victimhood of Dr. Dre. You know, I started this gangster shit, and this is the mother effing thanks I get. People forgot about Dre. You know, he's always whining about not getting his due. I think he's a multi-billionaire. He can stop complaining. When I get to be a multi-billionaire, I'm going to stop complaining too, but not until, you know,
I think that's the level.
$1 billion, stop whining, you know. Yeah, this is the thanks I get. Constantly abused, kicked around, you know, mistreated. 90, well, no, 93. I created Cyberpunk in 93. Yeah. And the first book came out in 94.
Now, was this just a doodle on a napkin type thing? Like Mickey Mouse was created? Like, was this just...
First of all, frogs have always been like my totem animal. Like, I've always loved frogs. They've always been around. I believe they're good luck. I have dreams in which frogs are there. And it means I'm in a good spot. You know, life is good. I always have dreams in which my wife goes, I've got something for you. And I'm like, what? And she like leads me by the hand downstairs to my beautiful basement man cave. And she's dug it out and she's made it into a tropical frog habitat. And she's like, look what I've done for you. And there are tropical frogs everywhere. And I'm like delighted by it. I'm thrilled to have my basement now look like Rainforest Cafe with frogs everywhere, you know. And that is good luck. Like that, you know that I love my wife, and it's like in my dream, like we're in a really good spot. Everything's happy. She's good for me. Like that kind of a thing. That's what my frog dreams mean. So anyway, 1993, I'm sitting there. I tried to do my dad. I graduated high school broke. You know, family didn't have any money to send me to college. I knew I was going to immediately become an artist. My dad got me a caricature stand at the Burlington Center in New Jersey. It was just an under-trafficked, dead mall, just dead. You know, I did meet my future wife there, though, so that was good. She was 16, I was 18. And I was just sitting there trying to make a go of it, drawing people's faces for $15, and it didn't work out. Had to close down the stand in about 6 months because rent was too expensive. And so now here I am, a complete and total loser. I'm sitting in my dad's law office. He had a room set up for me so I could draw. And I met this Puerto Rican girl at the mall. My wife shouldn't hear this, but she went to Puerto Rico, and she came back from Puerto Rico, and she's like, I brought you a gift, right? And I'm like, you want to tell your boyfriend? He's in the car outside. It's idling. You know, he can come in. She's like, nah, leave him out there. She brought me a little porcelain frog. And then she started to make out with me. I was like, your boyfriend's in the car, you know? She didn't care. So I cucked her boyfriend, and she gave me this porcelain frog. And that frog looked like Cyber Frog. I drew the frog. Cyber Frog. And I just drew this character Cyber Frog on a piece of typing paper. I wish I still had it. See how it goes.
Did you ever think Cyber Frog would be where it is today? Was that your, like, did you have an overall goal like this is my character, and I'm gonna ride or die with Cyber Frog my whole life, like no matter where the wind blows or wherever I go, this is always going to be something that I'm passionate about. Do you ever think you get to the, I mean, I think action figures and things like that are, I mean, that's pretty top notch.
Yeah, like I didn't think like that. Cyber Frog was the first. First of all, when I left DC Comics, I was chased out by social justice warriors. How did
that go? By the way, most people don't know that story.
Absolutely terrible. First of all, everybody knew I was a Republican at DC, and they all went, "Oh, it's okay that he's a Republican because Democrats dominate all of politics, and so it's fine. He can be a lunatic." And well, then Trump won, and I went, "Hell yeah, Trump won! Trump's your president. Trump is your president. Doesn't matter what you think. Trump is your president. Trump, MAGA, make America great again." And I was being a pain in the ass about it, okay? And it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And they started to follow me around Facebook, which is where I normally was. My Facebook was almost entirely political. I was an SJW, but right wing. I was a pain in the ass, posting everything I saw in the Drudge Report. And the reason why I was doing it is because everybody else was doing it, but from the left. And so my attitude was, very naively, I'm going to be what they are, but to the right, because I know there are right wingers in comics, and they probably feel like they're alone. So I want them to know that they're not alone, and me and the people that I know, my friends, we're here, we represent them. Well, comic book industry came after me big time. Over time, over about the course of a year, they found rude things that I'd said to SJWs, including telling one guy, I said, "Kill yourself, loser," to one of these guys. It was internet slang, but they made it sound like I was commanding somebody to commit suicide. He didn't listen to me. He's still here. And spread that all over the internet. And then that didn't really work. They sent that to DC Comics, and Diane Nelson said, "Yeah, that doesn't represent, our standards for superheroics here at DC Comics," whatever it was. That didn't work. So what they did instead was they mobilized to prove that I was a white supremacist, which I'm not. And they told everybody that I'm a white supremacist, and then they used the whisper networks to get all of the writers at DC, or at least most of them, to swear an oath to never work with me because of my white supremacist views, which I don't have. That pretty much was something that I heard back from DC. Said, "Who's going to work with you?" And I said, "What's going on?" They said, "All of these writers are saying they're never going to work with you again." I said, "Well, I've got a list of some guys who will work with me if I need them, or I'll work by myself." They said, "Finish up your contract." They said, "First of all, cancel all your social media." I said, "No." And they said, "We'll finish your contract."
They came in and said, "No social media."
Yeah, they said they'll stop talking about you if you don't have a YouTube channel or Twitter or anything like that. Maybe that'll make them go away. And I said, "I can't do that. They're calling me a Nazi. I can't do that. I can't just let them have that and let that run. I've got to actually fight back." And they said, well, finish your contract, and we're not going to renew your contract from there. And I owed them like 5 books. I think I finished 4 of them, and just said, I gotta go. I gotta go. This feels terrible to be here where I'm not wanted. And launched Cyberfrog. And when I left, I said, I'm going to get rich on Cyberfrog comics. And they laughed at me.
Huh?
Yeah.
And now they're the ones putting their pencils down.
They're putting their pencils down. And people are like, why is Ethan enjoying watching the comic industry implode? Certainly, Ethan has no couth that he is laughing at people losing their jobs. Now, I'm not laughing at people losing their jobs. Some people, Andy Corey, yes. I laughed at him. He's an editor at DC. I laughed at him losing his job. But more like it's kind of a, that kind of, it's not like, it's more like yeah. You know what I mean? It's that kind of a laugh. And it's because they didn't listen, because, these people, they allowed themselves to be influenced, to be taken over and guided by far left-wing radicals. And it did destroy the comic book industry. The same thing's happening with Star Wars. You cannot allow far left-wing radicals to point the direction of your business enterprise ever, or creative enterprise, because they don't know how to create anything. Yeah. They only know how to destroy what other people have built. And that's why you've got good Republican gentlemen like what's his name, Jon Favreau, running The Mandalorian and allowing Gina Carano to speak her mind. What a hero. And then firing Pedro Pascal because he's a Trump deranged bitch. But letting Gina Carano keep her job. And that is Star Wars right now. I'm actually, I felt bad about Star Wars for a little while. I'm feeling pretty good about Star Wars at the moment,
Do you have any advice for someone? All right, let's just say someone like me, or someone like my friend Fatal J, who's got a comic coming out. And
I love Fatal J. Hail Fatal J.
Yeah, good dude, man. We're both of us are because we're good friends, me and Fatal J, and we're all new to this Indiegogo life. We're like new. We watch you guys, we watch Ethan, we watch others do this, and that's like we were like, well, they can do it, we can do it too. We just have no idea what we're doing. So for someone out there that's listening, going, I have an idea, I have a book, I have this, I have something I want to do, but I'm scared and nervous or whatever. What kind of advice would you give? Would you give any?
I would
Is
say
there any advice?
Well, my first advice would be don't do it. My first advice would be to discourage people who want to go into the arts and to make that a career. It's hard. It's painful. It takes a lot of time. It's not something that you easily fall into. You got a huge super chat there, by the way.
Thank you, Mr. Smiley. Doesn't even say anything.
Yeah, just a nice tip. I would say first and foremost, don't do it. The percentage of people who actually, are making comics, making art, making movies, who should be, it's small. It's a small percentage, smaller than the number of women who like Star Wars, which is 5%. And spread that around. I think that should actually be a thing. Fandom Menace, the 95 for the Fandom Menace, 5% of women. So I would say don't do it. But if you're going to do it, you need to take the time to develop your idea. It's not, I know it looked like I came out of the blue and posted an Indiegogo and made $1 million, but I've been working in comics for almost 30 years. And, people know who I am. Some people knew the Cyberfrog property. And then I spent months and months on YouTube educating the people who didn't about who I was and what I was doing and what I was about to do. It takes time. It does take time. If you are going to launch an Indiegogo and you do not have years and years and years of experience, be prepared for a very moderate return. I'm seeing people launching campaigns. I was surprised Dame Drops, who's a big YouTuber, just launched his Indiegogo comic, and I don't think it's broken $2,000 yet. Even though it's well written, it's got beautiful art. No, it hasn't. It's at $19.50. I just refreshed it. It hasn't broken $2,000 yet. So I'm just saying, be prepared for all kinds of risks, and be prepared to not be 100% thrilled with what happens. Now you got Jeremy in the chat there. Here's the thing. Somebody like Jeremy could actually launch a comic book. He's got an enormous following. If he could peel off 2%, if he could convince 2% of his, following to buy a comic book, he would do very, very well. But I mean, for he worked to build his platform to that.
Yeah, see, I'm banking on Jeremy to promote my book so I can get that 2%. That's what I'm banking on. Right then and there.
That would be good. I got to get on Jeremy's show. Jeremy can promote my book too. Good God,
I'm like, man, come on. Yeah, that's what I kept saying. Like, people were asking me, what do you expect? And I said, I don't really expect anything. This has been 3 years for me in the works to put this thing together. And if my mom buys one, I'll be happy. Like, that's where I was at. I'm like, my mom buys 1 or 2 copies, I'm okay with that. So
if you're in doubt about angels being real, I can arrange to change any doubt you feel. Wait till you see my Gidget. You'll want her for your Valentine. You're going to say she's all that I adore, but stay away. Gidget's a filthy whore. You're going to find that Gidget is mine.